Rigetti playing upstairs, though, in the indoor main hall. Does have 2 impact grenades to play with, so it can impact his way out of here with the hatch. There's already the hostage, so he can jump down. They have, there we go, they have a rotation hold.
Wow.
Oh, wow, Goga will be the first one to fall. Guess they were checking up on him here as, oh no, he falls in the tower. This is a very common spot for Goga, but there you go. G2 with the late rotation into the tower, not working out for them, and Goga will go down.
Unfortunately, Jaeger, one of the operators that has to do a lot of setup. 2 reinforcements, multiple barbed wire deployable shields, ADSs that need to be usually in multiple places. A tough spot to be in, but he needed to be getting up to that 3rd floor of the tower, and unfortunately, they go back to their bed. Follows that up, smoke. This is looking really good for Maka, getting 2 important kills because now they have tower control and the smoke is dead. So Kanto actually going to go on the roam here. Risky.
Jonas taking down the drone here as pulled back. Fabian has both of his yokais here to help just in case. Not really expecting anybody to the front lobby. So right now, Kanto Rigetti just focusing all his eyes on the rear stage. Try to contest here, a bit of damage has been done to Panic. There we go, the spray, but unfortunately Fabian is down. The impact will be able to finish them off. No, Kanto Rigetti still gets the kill though on Riven through the hatch. Can jump down and help, but he has no info on where his opponents are. Jonas will try to turn into a 3v2 and it will connect.
Wow.
Kanto Rigetti with 1 more on enemy. And it's a 2 versus 2. As finally Panics will go down. Unfortunately, there were not up the downed Echo upstairs. Pengu, of course, having being down 1 player. It's a 2v1 for G2, and the best case scenario is Jonas is still alive with a pulse. Information is being relayed to there. No, what are you doing? No, Jonas peeks up and goes for the 1v1. When he had the advantage with his teammate watching the top side, all he needed to do is use the now, unfortunately, for G2. They forego that advantage. Try to peek in with the angle. Kanto Rigetti, though, does not falter. And they'll get the last one on to Void. A bit too close for comfort there for G2, but there you go. Or number 2 will go the way of G2 as we head to
I gotta say though, Kanto absolutely the hero of that round. Totally saving it. Just not in a good position. Down 2 players and 2 important players. It really was just looking like Maka had everything they needed to do, but the fight around the stage, it just seemed a little sloppy. They couldn't find the angles. They weren't really contesting meeting hall very smartly. Once they took the tower control, they just couldn't turn that into a good meeting hall attack, and obviously good plays by Kanto as well. Just completely taking advantage of the soft walls to be able to penetrate through, not to mention the hole that I believe Buck had opened. So overall, just a really good place from him. And unfortunately, Eunice, like you said, peeking out a little aggressively, did need a little bit more to get that carry it home. I liked the drone play by Thermite, trying to find the angles, get an idea where people were. He did first catch the pulse, which he was able to take advantage of this on Legion, but unfortunately Legion much more on top of the shot. Very nice from Eunice this time, 4 dorms. We'll see how this goes in terms of attack. They are bringing a capture out this time. So that was useful in trying to clear Pengu out from between those 2 windows, which I imagine he will be playing.
Okay. Fabian on the Echo, I wonder where they're going to set him up, because of the way that the sites are so open to everybody around it, it kind of Echo in his position.
Yeah,
I just want to keep safe.
He might play top of white stairs as one of the safer positions to lay prone, because you're not exposed to a lot necessarily, but they do have Capital that they could potentially shoot across to the top of that if they take control of kids, and then so he's going to set up at least 1 yokai between the 2 rooms there, and then another one on white stairs, it looks like. I see a little further over. And they're going to take advantage of that hole, potentially, no.
So right here.
There we go. If we can get it up there. I like the because you can see back and catch it right off the board.
They have a completely open wall to peek through.
Got eyes on the hostage.
So there you go. They didn't reinforce it. Usually, this entire wall is reinforced from the showers. So
Yep.
Interesting the way that G2 have this set up.
Well, they're using it the exact opposite of the way that the attackers use it. They're using it to stop that whole thing. So I guess, hey, if I find it, right?
Hostiles approaching.
Stay with me. Will learn of that. He'll try to come into kitchen.
Standard push for a buck.
Yep, just coming in from the small tower and then immediately get into the kitchen and clear it out just in case there's somebody there. There's a bandit battery that's on there, but I don't know if G2 are actually committing players to this position.
Yeah, it's a case where I think they're just trying to play a little more flexible here. They don't really care as much about losing kitchen, being close to that point. Plus, Fabian doing a good job with his Yokais. Actually manages to pull it off before they get shot. Force them to have to come around the corner to contest it so they can be exposed. There was the first kill on Kanto. Unfortunately, not really clutching in that Kanto.
He is down. I wonder if it was from an aggressive push. Yep, it was a run out.
Don't move.
Honestly, I have to really start questioning these. Keddy, of course, he is on deletion, so
yeah.
Kind of want to keep him alive as much as possible. But see the barbed wire being taken out here by
retrieve the package. Hostage secured. Move to the extraction point.
By the white stairs. Fabian has to be careful about his position as well as at the top of the white stairs. Panic searching desperately for the yokai.
Right up!
Down, trying to find the head of Fabian, who contests it, and Revan just gets a free kill.
Fabian, come on.
Goga still in the back though by the small doors. He's just holding up against the white stairs. Flashbangs and will be thrown Goga's way. Sets up an extra bit of ADS. There we go, making sure not to get burned by the wall next to him. Bandit. Live finding the angle onto him and all up to Jonas here. He gets taken down. Pengu gets one, but he's low on health. And a flurry of kills there, including a live at the end. Mocket will get around here 2-1. Still up for G2, but this whole round was just a disaster from start to finish.
Super easy summary why G2 lost that. Peeking, peeking, peeking constantly. You saw Kanto jump out and get, peek right into the shots. You saw the peek come out from Fabian unnecessarily. You saw the peek there from the bunks as well. He didn't need to be peeking that. Just so many peeks, and they just didn't seem on top of the peeks. They were peeking and not pre-firing. They were just peeking and hoping to see them and then shoot. If you're going to peek and not pre-fire, you really need to have better intel or have some idea where they're at. It's not smart plays there. They will be going back to dorms again. Second try. It looked like they were going to go dining for a second there, but decided against it. See if they stick the pick or if they're just going to stick with this Maestro here from Fabian this time. Attackers not going with double hard breachers this time. They're not going to stick the pick that Sophia as well. So it looks like no one really wanted to play any trickery this round. They're just going to play it straight up and hope they can win. Dorms yet again here. Now, of course, they can't go back to laundry, and they decided against dining or tower. So dorms is obviously the next choice. You see, both teams have 2 top players with 4 kills each. So they are a little bit about neck and neck, but because the G2 guys were able to win off time first round, it was definitely, makes the kills a little more even despite the score being more in G2's favor. I mean, to be honest, we're anticipating this will very likely go over to G2 at some point here, but this is a map, as you mentioned, that Mocket are fairly decent at as well. So there's a chance we could see this go a bit back and forth. So far, it is only a 1-point advantage to G2, although they have had some pretty good rounds so far, although both of them were kind of clutched out, once by Pengu, once by Kanto, and almost attempted by Pengu again. Can't really depend too much on clutches to get out of it, but that is something that G2 do pull off quite often.
Yeah, it's something, we mentioned it literally in the last game. It's not really something to rely on, and then...
But they'll do it mostly.
That's G2. G2, they have so much individual skill between their players that, it kind of isn't reliable. It's consistent. That's you're always looking for. And he's trying to find anything. Oh, no!
Fires.
The bandit using Kanto or Keddy here to bait out their opponents. It's a pretty big here. Lose those grenades. Alive, of course, on the Ash. Comfort makes it always be playing. Kanto almost getting hard.
This is a heck of a dynamic defense when that's not even the bomb site. They're really holding that aggressively. I don't think Mocket were prepared for that.
It's a decent chunk of time being lost here, but G2 just fall back to the kitchen. They realize, okay, the first bubble of defense, we're going to lose it anyways. Let's just make sure we can still fall back. Now, what Mocket can do is go up and contest from the bedroom.
Why not?
They can contest this from the windows. They can maybe get Pengu, they realize that the site is pretty much open because Fabian is in the back and Pengu as well, and that is it.
Yeah, it's definitely down to these bottom floor defenders, but the fact that they're not really doing much to contest them right now means they're not really accomplishing a whole lot for Maka here. At least they're going to start to try and push Pengu. They do have Captau to help with that as well, but
the lifeline bounce off of nothing.
it's unfortunate. Sometimes just walks it. Ooh, almost shoots alive in the head there. Gotta be careful.
It's all calculated, but live peering, looking in. Good advantage. Ooh, no, Revlon again. He'll get the headshot on one, and he gets the second. Peeking here with the advantage is G2. And they lose that advantage here. C4 being thrown out by UNS. Unfortunately, that's Void to get the kill on Kanto Raketti. UNS and Goga will have to go back up. Unfortunately for them, crossbow bolt's already done its work. It's going to limit the rotations and the line of sight that's available for G2 to go for the retake. No second bolt being thrown out just yet, but it doesn't matter. All you got to do is hold the rotation, and that is it. There's no C4 to be thrown. Goga's holding the one angle. Unfortunately, that angle you hold early on in the round, and maybe when you're expecting a push from your opponents, but they don't even need to go through that window. And G2, yet again, because of over-peaking, they end up losing the round. Mocket tying it 2-2.
Really also, just letting Revan sit outside that big window and not thinking about that window. You saw Pengu get killed, and then Fabian rotates on it anyway. Right after Pengu dies. It just, maybe there's just lack of communication here, overconfidence. They're just not paying attention to the flank angles, and it's really going to be a problem for them. They need to think a bit better about how they're using the map once they get some of those initial picks like that. They're getting a little weak, and it's not working out for them. But this is their last defense here on Laundry. It is 2-2 now, tied up. Let's see if they can manage to close out an advantage for G2, or if they're actually going to let Mocket come into the switch with the 1 point up. I mean, it isn't unlike some of these teams like G2. They're just lose in the beginning a little bit and they just bring it back. They
just had a time. So it's really not the end.
No, but they're still continuing down this trend that is a negative trend. So, I mean, they won some of those rounds, but it was again off of clutches, not off of a super strong team play. So we're just not seeing that from G2 right now.
Let's see how G2 played this one here. Down in Laundry as Goga setting up his ADSs. Kanto yet again. There's really nothing different. They run this setup. They've been running in for the past 4 rounds. This is the last round that they get on defense. So, looking at Oregon and how attacker favored it has been in the past couple months, Rocket getting 2 rounds down the attack is minimum. You need 3 minimum on here to be somewhat especially knowing that Mocket are extremely powerful on their attack with a live Panics and enemy that are 3 players that are very well known for their plays on the attacking side. However, once you get to the defense, I fear that they might not have the same momentum as G2 are having right now. If G2 can get the 3rd round, it'll definitely start swinging there.
Yeah, we'll see if they can pull that off or not. They have all the utility they need for that. It's just a question of, can they stop over-peaking? Can they stop playing over-aggressive? Kanto definitely not taking that into heart. At least he's going to back off, though. That is the take it and get out of there at that point. They know you're going to be playing there. They're going to counter it. There's a little bit of late reinforcement. I like to just steal it up.
Goga does this quite a bit. G2 in general really are fans of that late reinforcement.
That was risky, though.
We do the damage. We try to contest. If it doesn't work, we'll just fall back and make sure we reinforce behind us because we want to keep advantage on the meeting. Now, there are 2 hard destructors, of course, on Mocket, so it's no biggie for Mocket to use one of their Exkyros just on there because it happens so many times. Millennium likes to play this a lot as well, where they would just have someone holding the rotations. Even Mocket played this back when they were actually running a lot more Dokkaebi.
Yeah, definitely something that we're surprised we haven't seen from either of these teams just yet. Or like, I mean, I guess we only seen Mocket, but still. They are going to go for opening the hatch via the school wall, give themselves the angle, of course, because that is the most, or the smartest way utility-wise to open that. Eunice, though, with the first kill on the Void, a little bit of a comeback then here coming from G2. That is a kill onto one of the Heartbreachers. Again, they brought 2. which was the smart choice here.
But really only need the Habana. Now there's 2 breach spots that are available, and really the only position that you have to open up with your Skyros is that that drop hatch basically into laundry. Otherwise, the rest is kind of just utility, and you need to hold angles. Just, hey, if all our opponents can just push in from the main doorway in the meeting hall, I think we don't even need to open up a hole to contest anybody. We can just push in off the site and make sure that they only have tower to rotate from. So we know that they'll be coming in from the hallway or from the back of laundry.
And we'll see if they're able to counter that. Unfortunately, Fabian, trying to be smart about his drone, lost it pushing against an attacker drone. Not sure who shot that attacker or defender, but it did not work out in terms of that. He has potentially one more yokai drone left to help with this, but he's going to peek instead and actually gets a kill under Revit. He takes a lot of damage in the process.
And Goga opening up the meeting hall just to make sure that his opponents are always on their toes against him. Now, information has been relayed on the position of Panic, as Jonas will get the kill. It's a 2v4 and now a 4v1. Pengu will get one more. There's still one more in school as he gets the down, and that's Goga to knife enemy down to the floor. And there you go. Diffuser will get taken out. This player has not been picked up in the lobby, but it doesn't matter. G2 with 3 rounds up versus the 2 for Mocket is definitely a pretty big advantage for G2 on the defense.
They're definitely going to have that big advantage. I feel like on attack they might have a little bit better attack here, and I think this is where we're going to see it probably start to swing a bit more G2 side. When that last round gave them a 1-round advantage. But we'll see. Mocket are going to risk tower first if they stick on that. That should be interesting to see if they can pull that off. That's the riskier one. Dining actually seems to be working out better for teams today than Tower has been. So that is a big risk. Like I said, they are going to stick it. Let's see if they get any operator switch. But like I said, I was surprised to see Dokkaebi earlier, but of course that was when it was just Mocket playing. Now that we see G2, they're going to play that. And they're going to bring the Ying as well. A lot of good utility here on the attack side. Defender's going to bring that Echo because, well, it's not banned, might as well. Also, Eunice actually going to switch up last second to Twitch. Interesting choice. I mean, that might help against the Echo drone, I suppose, or clear some ADSs.
I mean, plus you get the F2, right? It's the,
oh yeah, obviously.
FAMAS is definitely no slouch. And usually you used to see Fabian playing that role of the Twitch. There's quite a bit of footage of that. And Mocket will start off on the tower, so I'm curious, here to say the least. Wonder how they're going to set this up, maybe focusing more on the bedrooms, maybe just holding quite a bit on the tower T3, because we've seen this especially with Panics. The way that things are set up, he can hold it from the top. He just needs to have the intuition to know when to rotate from one side to the other. Now the thing is, because Valkyrie is banned, and that was T2's banned, it makes things a lot more complicated for Mocket to figure things out.
They would definitely be playing it on this defense, especially if they had it as an option. So because they don't, they're going to have to do things differently. We have seen some stinky plays with Echo drones where they pop them into the window sills before.
Yeah, those Renshiro that played it for Millennium. It does help, but
not quite the same.
Yeah, it's not quite the same, of course.
It didn't actually really end up leading to too much either when we saw it, but I like the idea that tricking, some ideas you can do. Obviously, you can't put it outside because it loses connection after 3 seconds. And Kanto, speaking of losing connection, pretty much disconnects Panics from life there. Unfortunate. Nice early fix. Yeah. He's definitely not going to be happy about that.
Was that the only T3 player?
Probably. That usually is, and you're not going to see a lot of late rotates up to the T3, so not a great start.
Yeah, that's it. It's completely been let go. Now, Goga has the diffuser in hand. Now, that might not work out too well if he doesn't get taken down. He jumps in, and there you go. He gives them the diffuser. Goga, what are you doing?
Why would you do that?
Now
he didn't even take out the ADS before he died.
Oh no, at least Dokkaebi here takes control, but the diffuser, I think, is still on the top floor. They're going to try to pick it up. No, it's literally on the beam.
He's got it now.
Okay, there you go. Fabian will go in for the plant as instantly G2 are able to push in Mocket with Revan coming into the side. He'll try to deny this here, but he's spotted. There's little positions that you could come in from, and Jonas gets one. Enemy will go for the reload, and as he does that, it's Jonas that comes in for the finisher with the Twitch. It's a bit of a fast execution. The instant they got the pick on the Jaeger's like, okay, well, T3 is free. Let's go.
And that's why, that was a very swift lesson to Mocket in why they should play tower. It was like, if we get your guy at the top of tower, you lose tower. Now, obviously, they didn't need to get over aggressive with it and jump down to the wood beam and move through the diffuser. That was a bit of a misplay, but nonetheless, they took that very, very quickly, and that was very confident play. Like I said, this is where we're going to see them break ahead, and they're already now up one more point, getting dangerously close to taking the map here. Now, Maka going to go for a much smarter, safer bombs fight here in Laundry. Like I said earlier, some teams like to just get those side ones out of the way, but Dining has, like I said, been proven to be a bit more effective than Tower has been. We'll see some 6 picks getting used here. Both of them to the Polish operators.
Yeah, Ella to Panics, not surprising at all. And Jonas to Zofia. That's, again, a pretty good pick. We've seen a lot of Zofia play for Jonas. He's, for a lot of people, considered the NVK of Europe. So, there you go. A lot of Zofia plays. Market will be playing downstairs. So, Panics will be setting up with the Ella. I wonder if he's going to be playing more of a roam heavy thing or just holding specific angles, because with the L-shaped hallway, you've got, you also have stairs, etc. All of those can be extremely beneficial for an Ella that is very well known for being extremely effective.
Yeah, it definitely comes down to how an individual plays it as well, because it's not really that you play pretty flexibly, but if you know how to play aggressive at just the right timing, it's a very, very effective operator, but you have to be smart about it. And those mines definitely help in that, because they can help you figure out that timing as well as but still, of course, just the beginning of the actual round, as this could go over to map point here.
Is this the rush? They're going to rush on down. They're not even going to take that reinforced hatch down at all. They just rush in. They realize the entire site is empty because Market are playing this Latin America style. Everybody off the site. And that's the first one getting taken down. It's Boy. Now the second one as well. Pengu down onto Alive. 3v2 with the diffuser already planted. Panic slow on health. He gets one kill on Jonas. But Goga will refrag instantly, making sure that Market have to work for every single one of these moments. Revan is down on the floor up top in the meeting hall, and it's all up to enemy. And as the MP5 SD will make him heard. Moves in through the hallway, the Ashkin coming in from the back, and it's already Goga. Time to finish him off. Of course, Fabian having down Revan upstairs in the meeting hall. More than G2. Beautiful bit of play here, realizing that their opponents are completely open and free.
Well, as I've said before, when they get a little sick of playing a particular round, they like to close it out very quickly. They're certainly doing that already on map point here. This is looking like it could be over for Market. Chances are Market will probably get one more round at least, but this is definitely looking like G2's map. It was Market's map pick, though, and that's what makes me a little bit worried about that. Obviously, they're going to have to...
yeah, this is Market now in the tactical timeout, so
okay.
Do have the confirmation. It makes a lot of sense. Obviously, they get a tactical timeout, one per map.
Yeah, use it when you're on your potentially last round.
Yes.
Good time to use it.
So we'll see how this works out. We told you guys, the attacking side on Oregon has a pretty darn big advantage. So, much like Coastline, you're looking at a minimum of 3 rounds. And unfortunately, Market only were getting 2 on the attack. It doesn't work out too well for them.
Well, we'll see if they can finally pick up one defensive round. They're going to try Laundry one more time. And I say one more time because if they lose that, then they get no more chances. But at least they're not going to try anything radical like Tower or Dining. But they're going to have to make some adjustments. Obviously, one adjustment, maybe keep a few more people on site and don't get rushed.
I mean, this happens once every week in professional play, really.
If you see it, use it.
Yeah, you throw it in, like, well, all right. But there's only one guy downstairs, so all rush. And that's exactly what happened. They didn't even have to care about echo or whatever stage.
And it's a case, too, where when Mirror's banning makes it a little bit easier. Just because you don't have to worry about there being a window there for them to see you, they pretty much have to be peeking that hole to try and do anything about your rush down the stairs, in which case they're not as prepared. We'll see, though, if they're as prepared this time. I would imagine they would consider at least putting some lesion mines on those stairs coming down so that there's a chance they will at least get slowed down.
I mean, there was one Goo mine.
Yeah, but I mean, you can put
2
2 during the prep phase. Not that 2's going to make that much of a difference.
Usually what happens with the Goo mines is that you put your Goo mines early on in the prep phase further away from the site, where your roamers or whoever, as you're flying on the site, you kind of like leave a trail of ordinance in this game, poisonous mines.
That's in the case of, depending on how you're playing, is where Kento will play a case, Revan probably going to play a little bit closer to side.
No, he's actually
going to be upstairs, you know?
all right. More of a roller. One of the drones being shot in the back. Jonas will get tagged by one of the multipliers brought in by Panic. So he still has one in the back.
Fortunately for him, he could not find an angle, so he's just going to back off, which is probably the smart play, but nonetheless, that will slow them down a little bit. They're going to have to push that a little bit differently, but Alive taking down Kanto early. A nice aggressive pick here, hanging out on that stage as Jaeger. He's going to get countered here by Tengu soon, potentially, unless he drops first.
They can instantly drop out of this one here. They're relying on drones. They know he's here, but unfortunately he's crouched. And Alive being tagged, he just falls down. So that's why that's the only reason you'll see enemy scans. Unfortunately, Pengu not going to find the angle. He is running a site on. Oh no, they can't take down the yokai. But he's not running an ACOG on his Para 308, so it doesn't really have the easiest of times having the long approach.
Well, they do have ground control. They also have control of the armory, so they're taking control of this top floor. They pushed everyone off, putting us back to site. But at the same time, they left meeting and the lobby pretty much open for the defenders to control here. This is not the best way to do it, but they're going to go for a B-side push for the most part here. See Gogo rotating around, coming from the construction side as well with the diffuser.
Yeah, there's not a ton of time here for G2 to come in from standard stairs/hatch push. Though they have pushed everybody, as you mentioned, away from Meeting Hall. Gogo will have to come in, but there's 44 seconds left on the clock. Trying to burn in here as much utility as possible. Fabian will come in to the hallway. The flash does help him to get close against his opponent. He pushes in one from the back. Gogo will get one in the meantime. Unfortunately, Panics will win out up close with the CZ3A1. Now it's Gogo to come in for the diffuser plant, and it will be successful as Panics gets the second one. Revan will get one more to turn it into a 3v1. All up to Jonas now, and unfortunately there are no grenades available for the IQ anymore. The diffuser is being shot down as in the meantime, Revan gets the final one on Jonas, and there we go.
Just helping out his teammate. Make sure to guard that diffuser.
There you go. That's the round for Mocket. They need it. It's a big morale boost for the team. As you see, they're not as active as their opponents of G2. They're kind of like wondering what was happening there. But that early pick, it's huge. Taking down Kanto on the tower.
Yeah, nicely done by Alive, playing that aggressively. That was definitely a game changer for them. But nonetheless, it was still a close round. And are you guys seriously going to go tower now? You do not want. They have yet to play Dorm. So the fact that they're going to potentially go tower second time seems like a huge mistake. Now, last time there was the early pick that you mentioned with the Jaeger and that up on T3, and that made a huge difference. But still, this seems like such a risky move without having the addition of those black eye cameras outside. They do have at least a pulse to get some intel, assuming they sleep on that, but
go for kitchen in this case.
it seems, yeah, this seems really, really risky. They are going to still bring the Echo, but
Didn't even play bedroom. Play bedroom.
that's what I'm saying.
Why are you playing tower?
I don't know. They're just, it's risky. It's risky. This is their map pick too. This is not like, oh, our map's next. We're fine. No, you go into Villa next.
Yeah, it's a map that is untested for Mocket. G2 have had success on it. They did play against ENCE actually in OGA Pit, and they were able to beat them on Villa. It was they kind of were showing stuff here and there. So yeah, G2 kind of know their stuff around.
Oh, absolutely. They're a team that's not going to slouch on that. With a coach like Jazz, I'm sure they've spent a lot of time analyzing Villa and watching every match available that anyone has played on Villa to get an idea or ideas on different ways to play it. I've heard a lot of rumors about how Villa has been evolving over this last 2 weeks. It's really been shaping up to be an interesting map. So I expect good stuff there, as we are guaranteed to see it since it's not the decider, which will be fun. The way things are going, though, we may not see the decider. We'll see. It is only 5-3. They only have to come back 2 rounds in a row to take it to overtime, but it's definitely going to be a struggle. They are going to at least feel out where the defense is set up here. They know there are defenders downstairs. Unfortunately, they didn't shoot out the drone, so that is Void getting chased off. Fabian taking full advantage of that, so that's why you saw the pings coming out. Now he's going to be able to hack the phone. Now, of course, that's not going to give them huge advantage as they're not playing with a Maestro or a Valkyrie, but nonetheless, it's still nice to have that extra bit of intel to try and catch any roamers who are probably not going to go shoot the cameras.
Window's gonna get taken down here. At least Kanto expecting a potential peak. He knows that usually the Jaeger is playing all the way up top. Now, the best thing for G2 here is that they don't have to fear anybody from below. So Laundry's pretty much open for them. The rear stage, rear tower, definitely be a position where you'll see Fabian moving up with. I'm not sure if he still has. There you go. He still has one more call to use, plus the smoke grenade. So instead of going through the tower, he's going to use that call to push into the meeting hall.
We'll see if they can keep control of it, as that is an important part of this push. There was some reinforcements that would help with that in the stage. Exactly where the...
Oh! Fabian lands the headshot on alive. As everybody here gasping at the same time. That is an oof of a shot. And now all that's left is, there you go, he's finally going to get taken down. Enemy, fortunately, stays alive against all the utility that's being thrown in his way. Kanto Raketti realizing now that it's going to get contested by the Jaegers. Enemy comes in from the side as well. Too many angles for them to watch. They can just plant here on the side. If Jonas gets one, so another one for Pingu. It's a 1v3, but Panix is still upstairs. Just plant below.
They've got to be reading into that at this point.
There you go. It's going to be set. Panix will have to rotate in as they're not ready for him. He'll get the kill onto Goga. It's going to be detected. All up to Jonas. Finnish player against the Swiss Panix. Have to clutch this one out here as he sprays right into him, but Jonas will hit the shot to take out Panix. And here we go, match point. Already won by G2, who put the first map on the board.
Well, definitely a case where it got pretty close there, because this time they did not take out the T3 player, and because of that, they were able to take advantage of that to get pretty far into the round. But nonetheless, Eunice, a reliable clutch there. Again, a lot of clutches being key to G2 winning, but as Fabian would say, winning is a win.
That's all that matters. That is map number 1 going the way of G2. Was kind of expected, but this is a map that we're expecting Market to be performing much better on. I think their side on the attack was already weak,
yeah,
I want to say, with only 2 rounds, but they only took 1 round on the defense. Problem, they played twice in tower, and both of them did not work out. But we'll check out some of the highlights here. Pengu in the very first round gave us a pretty sweet clutch. Technically a forfeit, right? I mean, he didn't kill the buck at the end. Still, there you go, just a couple rounds, and
so close.
Yeah, not enough to get the last one.
So this was a great clutch by Kanto. Just great, smart play in terms of, there was a lot of open holes in other ways he could have been shot or flanked, but just smart play, good timing. Unfortunately, this is where we're seeing Fabian just over peaking. This whole round was just too many peaks. And Revan, though, with really great plays from that double window, a lot of the time is Capitao.
Yeah, and that's the thing, not a lot of people will run a para with an ACOG. It's, you know, it's not C8 levels, but it's not super easy to deal with, and, you know, Goga trying to push in. This is one of my favorite rounds, really, just G2 realizing, okay, the site is pretty much all completely open, let's just come in and plant.
Yeah.
It did work out. That was the one that took them, oh my god. Good shot, Fabian.
Nice attempts.
There's some pretty exciting clutches from both teams in that position, but I have to say, Penta, we always say you can't rely on one player to clutch.
Yeah. Well, in this case, they were fairly reliable most of the time. Eunice was put in that position quite a few times. Kanto as well. Pengu sometimes. So those 3 especially were fairly reliable most of the time. Didn't always work there. I think there was at least one time where Eunice was close but couldn't quite pull it off. Nonetheless, as we said, all the players, the individual skill, maybe they weren't playing together as a team as much as we would have liked to see, but nonetheless, the individual player skill was definitely there, and some of those early picks especially would completely make the round go in favor of G2, because once they had man advantage, they knew how to capitalize on it very well. It's just a lot of rounds where they didn't towards the end, and they just were able to clutch it out anyways.
But that was map 1. That was Oregon. Map 2, Villa. So for everybody excited, we get to finally see it in Paris Major, and literally in the second matchup of the group stage, so who would have thunk it? But we've seen a bit of Villa played, I think 5 or 6 times in Pro League so far. We've also seen it in, I'm not sure if we saw it in US Nationals, but at least we saw it in OG.
It's surprising here to see it before Clubhouse, though.
Yeah.
Of all the things, because it's a best of 3, not a best of 1, where we're just going to see, you know, 1 map each, but...
We'll head to sunny Tuscany as we go into Villa. Market starting off with a ban phase here as they have chosen to, well, at least G2 have chosen to start on the attack. Market, of course, had the first pick on Oregon, and they chose to start on the attack. attacking side there. But there you go. G2 will ban out the Lion. This is just the most expected ban in the history of bans. Always G2.
Let's see what we're going to see. We're going to go for that Ash ban on Alive. It'd be pretty funny at this point, just to kind of disable him a little bit. Side though. What they want to go for on Villa. There it is. Sorry, Alive.
Yeah, there you
We're
go.
not going to have your op.
Makes sense.
Well, you might as well disable one of the better players on the team. I mean, I say the better players because there's not a lot of good players. There's definitely a lot of good players.
Definitely the standout player that we mentioned. Like, we mentioned Panics quite a bit as well because. But Ash is such a big thing for Montfort that now. This is having the conversation with Panics in one of the interviews with Crowley, and he's like, I'm actually happy when they ban the Ash. Finally, we get to see Alive playing some other operator.
Yeah. Well, there's the Maestro ban coming out this time instead of a Valkyrie.
Yeah, Maestro hero, so Echo's gonna be played.
Yeah, definitely should be a big part of the defense here. They're going to start Aviator games, it seems like. And I feel like the meta hasn't completely settled on the bomb sites yet, but upstairs seems to be more prevalent than downstairs.
Aviator Trophy is definitely, well, those two sites are definitely very strong.
Trophy can be a little difficult at times, but I mean the way you play impacts on this one especially tends to work pretty well.
Which is why for me, I don't really see why you would ban Mira. I mean, there's a couple strong positions where she can be used, but she's not as essential as she can be on other maps. But you know, it's a European thing, I guess. Mira will always be banned. It's kind of living up to the hype.
Yeah, they don't like it.
So not surprising that Valkyrie will be picked, as Jonas will be back on his class. Definitely someone that has been able to do quite a bit of damage to opponents in the not too far past. You get to see how he sets that up, but starting off, of course, on Aviator and Game Room, and to mock it on the defense. I wonder one thing though, if Alive on the smoke is bringing impact nades.
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, obviously Revan will very likely be bringing impact nades.
No. Okay, so this is what makes sense. So earlier on in the Pro League season, when people played Villa and scouted around in Villa, they would always push in from the main stairs, they would push in from the study and from the balcony, and maybe hold off on the hallway. Well, now you're only going to be sending 1 or 2 players here. 3 to 4 are actually pushing from the opposite end, going in from the bedroom, and from the bedroom they'll be able to come in from the back, have a hallway, have another way of entrance into this area. Astronomy, and also Trophy plus the bedroom is very strong. The bedroom, I harp on about it as much as I do when it comes to talking about Mira or Legion, but the bedroom is a super strong position within this map. It allows you to control almost every single one of these sites. It's always great to be able to have some control of it. Now, what Millennium did, for example, compared to Market, is they actually put players on this side to contest their opponents.
Yeah, which is, I mean, it's risky to put people on the entry side sometimes because you know they're going to drone it well, and there's a chance that you could just be getting yourself into a fight really early and unnecessarily as opposed to buying time. But it depends on whether or not you're able to fall back, especially if you get a kill and fall back instead of playing it over aggressive. But they are going to take control of quite a bit of the top floor here. And that's going to force Panics back, as well as Enemy. The phone call's doing a good job here. There's one Kanto.
There we go, that's another one. Kanto moving up here, of course, with the Mark 14, making sure nobody peeks from the hallway. It's, of course, a very strong position. We see a lot of Jaegers actually in that position. Fabian will set up a drone downstairs to watch for the flanks, and he spots the Ella instantly. So now, Enemy will have to fall back. Can't really do too much against this. The instant he was spotted, and the Jaeger will get spotted, and there you go. The Ella as well. It's exactly what they were looking for. Ella will have to stay back. Scantor takes a bit of damage from the goal line. Roll this. There we go. Try to fight against the Vault. One set of Excitals opening things up. We'll see Angle on the other side. That is
Interesting angle.
Yeah, that's an interesting angle as well.
Ooh, unfortunate throw. That's one of the things you got to keep in mind about the velocity stuff is your sideways velocity matters as well. When you're moving sideways as you throw something, you can actually make a lot of misthrows like that. And as a Legion player, you really need to make sure you know how to throw accurately.
So Jonas now will have a bit of an angle, but Void will get one refrag instantly from Cantor and Ketty. Pengu going down is not the end of the world. I don't think he used his grenades at all, but so big loss for Rocket, especially when the pushing from G2 will be so forced in from specific angles. Aviator definitely lends itself a lot more to this smoke. Grenades will be thrown right into the face of the defenders. Revon, though, will get the kill on Jonas. Enemy with another one. It's a 2v4 now with Fabian and Goga left alive. Have to go through some pretty high rate of fire SMGs for their opponents. Revon with one. Diffuser's now on the floor. Fabian will have to contest. He gets one. He watches the stairs, and unfortunately, the Ella will fall back right before he's able to get the kill. Now just playing the mind games. Enemy getting the last one to clean them up, and round number one will go the way of the defense. It's Locket.
That definitely got a bit sloppy towards the end. Once they took control of the vault, they didn't seem to be able to push that very effectively from there. It just, the fight went so in favor of the defenders when they shouldn't have. It just seemed like they were getting over-aggressive on the actual push, trying to push in when they didn't need to, or take fights they didn't need to. For example, the Glass pushing in, even Fabian over-aggressively pushing down those stairs. That was a little bit sloppy compared to what I would expect from G2 there. But nonetheless, it's just one round. We are going to go downstairs next to Dining Kitchen. So that should be interesting to see how this plays out as they're going to skip Trophy here. Might be their third bomb site instead. So it's going to be in switch quick. Not looking like it so far. They're just going to show the Glass this time. They're going with double hard breachers. Kanto the one to switch. And,
yeah, so the IQ being played there at the end. Kenta Raketti on the IQ.
Usually it was more Goga than Glass. But they're going with the double hard breachers, so Goga's going to be on his usual thermal.
So let's see how this works out here. Really, the first round was a bit of a disaster for G2. Possibly Locket here continuing their great play for the first round. Now Void Pulse. One thing for G2 is that they're bringing in Jackal, which is great. Jackal with the ITA can definitely help them out. To make that happen, they need to have some control of the red room, which is 5 seconds of play matters on film. Similar to
we just haven't seen a lot of it demonstrated yet. I think this team slowly figure out the advantageous uses of it in certain positions. You see it more, but yeah, it feels like a little bit underwhelming for them.
Definitely so. Now Buck sometimes can take the ball here on the bedroom, and Fabian will come in from below. So are we actually going to open one? No. So he's just going to move in from the side. All right.
He definitely could open up those barrels with the shotgun, be able to push his way through, but decides against it. We'll see them opening up quite a few windows though to be able to make this push start to happen. Again, going with that Glass from Eunice. They're going to have to try and find some angles to fight. Drone's actually doing a good job stopping some drones, but unfortunately you can only do so much on that. Kanto is going to start pushing them aggressively. Footprints getting spotted out here. This is going to start to put pressure on these roamers to start to fall back and take this top floor control.
Unfortunately for Fabian, the Jaeger falling back right second. Take for trophy, there's always a drone moving forward. So this combined with the Jackal, a lot of advantage here for the attackers. Unfortunately, Jonas will go down. He's down but not out, and they're trying to use him as bait. So Nitro Cell will get thrown out. No, it doesn't even kill Jonas.
What?
That's actually pretty great.
You see that big steel in the middle there? That might have been enough to block the explosion.
So this is how it was happening. We're always talking about this, where the pulse, if he's using his heartbeat detector, he can get spotted from above. Of course, the IQ unable to find the shot. It's always a problem when you have so many steel beams.
Yeah. Important part is they were able to get Eunice back up. So it's still 5v5, just lower health for G2.
Opening up the window on the side just in case he needs to exit alive, pushing up pretty aggressively into Laundry, a big part of the attack as well. Go for that position. Alive though, getting the kill on the units. 4v5, but he'll get taken down by Goga. Immediately refrag. Now Jonas not really having the best of times. And Glaz is Goga peeking in. Let's see the Ella having done the damage, and enemy finishes off Kanta Raketti. Goga with one more, but panics, refragging onto Fabian. Goga with little to no health. Now has to work with Pingu. Both hard destructors are still alive as Pingu will flash himself and run into the blue line. Panics, enemy, they're alive. Enemy getting the kill, Goga from above, and this is why bedroom is so important for both defense and attack and Panics with the Revan. With the last one, G2 falling as Mocket will put the second round over the board.
So far, looking like this choice by G2 maybe not the best choice, at least in terms of G2's attacks. Maybe their defense will show something really special and they'll win all 5 of their defensive rounds. So far, their attacks have been falling apart fairly quickly. And it's not even due to a lot of really elaborate defenses here by Mock. It's just a few roamers playing really well. And the inability for G2 to find very many kills on their entries. They're just kind of pushing in, getting a lot of map control, but not able to actually get into the site or make an actual push or execute happen. We'll see how things go on Trophy, though, as of course winning defensive rounds means they have to keep switching to different bomb sites. So as I said before, Trophy probably going to be the 3rd one, and it is. This one might be a little bit easier for them. They're obviously able to push that bedroom as mentioned earlier and take control of that. We're going to stick the pick to that pulse. Try and keep it a little bit of surprise again. Probably going to be playing downstairs, I would imagine, but Pengu sneaking into Montaigne probably to help with the push, maybe from that bathroom or from the bedroom into there to help try and take either statue or Trophy.
We'll see if Jonas can actually get something done with the Glad here. Unfortunately, Mocket have been pretty efficient at shutting it down every single round, but really, Villa is a fairly defensive favorite now. So getting 2, 3, even 4 rounds on the defense is not really something out of the ordinary. It's just G2. We actually had a very close way of going through things in map 1 in Oregon, where G2 were up 2 rounds, and then Mocket were able to tie it up to 2. So still.
Yeah. It's entirely possible. I was talking before about how like the first couple of rounds a lot of times will be lost by top teams like this, so it's not a surprise that G2 are down the first 2 rounds, but this is their map pick. I would have expected more of a strong start, but because they don't get to pick sides as well, maybe, like I said, a lot of their ideas were for defense, but still, their attacks seem a little sloppy.
Alright, so guys, we'll update you in the meantime. Fnatic versus NIP. First map, Clubhouse just ended in a 6-3 victory for Fnatic. So that is a 1-0 up for Fnatic.
Well, that's looking good for APAC. We had Norenga win their match. Now Fnatic are looking strong, and there's maybe APAC are going to have a big showing here, because I've heard good things about Elvin.
Reddit is already pretty excited for it. Gets as the victories keep running in. Of course, that match is live with Intero and Wilkie on twitch.tv/Rainbow6Bravo. So make sure you go on there if you want to watch Fnatic versus NIP. But for here, G2 v Mocket are 2 European teams facing one another.
Pengu did manage to get in with that Monty through the bathroom like we were talking about, but did hit 1 goo mine on the way in, so they have an idea that they're in there now, but not able to do a whole lot about it. Fabian finding footprints, there we go, there's that buffer, that extra range there, and that means enemy now going to be in a tougher position. He's going to have to rotate around a little bit more, which means it could potentially catch him off guard. However, Fabian is all the way downstairs, so he's not going to do it from there.
Ella trying to contest up close on the stairs, and it'll fall back. Your enemy cannot really play too effectively against his opponents on the stairs being tracked. C4 is going to get thrown up. No, Fabian getting the kill at the perfect moment, saving potentially 2 teammates, and more importantly, Pengu on the Monty. Very important here for G2. This might just be the round where they start getting things up. Impact
there we go.
Up. Nope.
There's that floor trick that we see so often, placing the thermite charge on the floor to open up the bottom of it. You're going to probably see a lot of that on Villa in the future here till it's countered.
There's actually a few ways to make sure that doesn't actually happen at all, but Panics will get the kill on Fabian, finally taking down the Jackal. He's done quite a bit here. Oh my god, Revan finding the shot, just not even needing to peek against Goga, who was prone on the floor, expecting his there, but as is tradition, everything can be used from both angles. So attackers. Oh no, Impact's gonna get thrown into the back. More damage to Goga. Now he's down on the floor with the Fuser down as well. Alive will peek in and get one more on Kanta Raketti. And all that's left. Pengu here. Oh, the Claymore from Goga. Saves Pengu. Extends his lifetime with just a bit as he pushes in. Vishmolted. School mines as well in front of him. He's gonna have to walk it to his opponents, and unfortunately, it does not work. Mocket with 3 rounds here on the defense in a row. Very much dismantling G2. This is it definitely goes in goes to say this for a lot of people that haven't really seen Villa on professional play or haven't looked into some stuff from scrims, etc. It is extremely defender favorable. So G2 with a timeout here.
Yeah, at this point they want to stop the bleeding. I don't blame them for
It's a
taking
technical timeout. It's not.
Oh, they didn't choose it. Huh? Like I said though, I wouldn't be surprised to want to stop the bleeding at this point after losing 3 rounds. Chances are probably someone's audio or something like that. That tends to be the most common problem that there is at these kind of events, is just audio for whatever reason can get a little messed up.
Alright,
We'll see though.
We see the admin behind him, helping him out, so making sure that everything is running well. In the meantime, in the market camp, they're pretty happy with their performance so far.
Smiling coach.
So you see Panic's just, you know, I think he's a bit tired. It's a bit of an early start here in the day, even though they are in match 2, but still, they have had a lot of work. Market definitely doing as much work as possible with their coach behind them. It's very important. The fact that the players can rest and having the coach doing a lot of the heavy work at night, it means that the players are always ready for their matchups. You know what? Right now, Market is very much looking like they're as ready as it can be.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, we'll see when the sides switch, but so far, I mean, the most that G2 can squeeze out of these attacks now is 2 points versus 3. So not like
Already, actually, 2 rounds of the attack on Villa is not too bad.
No, it's not bad, but at the same time, that's still yet to even be seen because their attacks have just not been super coordinated. We'll see how they change it up as we're going to get back into it on Aviator. Now, of course, they're going to have to start repeating bomb sites for the most part. So we will see, at least they have some idea on how to attack these. Units going on Glass again, though, has not been working out, as you mentioned earlier, and we saw it fail again last round. So it seems like that has been one of the weaker parts of these attacks.
So we'll see how this is set up by Market, and they will go for Aviator again. So they're going to run the exact same lineup as before. So for G2, they have to worry about from below, flanking all the time. Market making sure that G2 are always on their toes. So far, let's just say that G2 haven't really shown that they're balanced.
Yeah, let's hope that that short timeout they had there helped them get in the right mentality.
It'll be pretty funny to stay as a ballerina.
10 seconds remaining.
That's usually how I see him. In my mind.
5 seconds to go.
We'll see though, this round they are going with similar attacker lineups for the most part that they've been doing, but some slight variations here. I mean, I like what Fabian's trying to do with the Jackal. I like the approach from below, trying to come up a little more safe. Because ooh, there we go. Someone going for an aggressive peek. Gonna work.
Whoa, enemy gets the first one on Fabian. He's just not expecting someone to run out from the main doorway.
Not a good start. After this is looking like we could see a 4th round here for Market.
This is a huge start because of how strong these roamers have been for Market.
Yeah.
It seems like G2's mapping is really starting to backfire.
Yeah. In this case, enemy was the one getting tracked last time. So getting the kill on Fabian early is gonna put him in a much better position for the rest of this. Assuming he can stay alive for a while and burn some time. They are going for more of a study approach, something you talked about earlier. Used to be more of the common way to approach it. They're actually going with that, spotting at least one of those cameras now, boys. But in the meantime, they did see the Glass approaching. Called out.
All 3 and 4 from the side, so G2 definitely use that to their advantage. The interesting thing is that G2 are only bringing 1 hard creature. So with how prevalent the impactors have been here, Panic's not instant here in a small way, but there's a very common position to see the Jaeger playing in one side more than the other. Nobody coming against from the back from G2, of course they are down in manpower. They can't really afford to send anybody to the other side of the map as all the players are set up here to test the hallway.
He was definitely putting a scare into Panics, but I worry that if Panics peaks, Panics will probably win the gunfight based off of what we've seen so far on this map from Unis. And perfect timing by Tengu. I imagine some great comms and callouts there. There goes Panics. Now Unis will have an easier time pushing down here as they start to get the wall open.
This is the thermite position where you can't really do much against it. There's nothing set up for this. They'll open up the side, and this is really the best way to contest against their opponents. Oh no,
The timing.
the smoke is not set up correctly, and Revon will find the angle. Jonas, unfortunately, not able to put the smoke down correctly. Up to Kanto and the squad to just run into the site and go for a frag fest. Tengu being blown to smithereens by Void, as the diffuser will be set. Advantage is for Mocket. And oh boy, that's Kanto Raketti with one more. It's a 2v1. Mocket looking for the 4th round on the board. It's up to Kanto. He wins these, as they
Not
say.
this time.
Revan just playing around the bar. He'll get the kill. Kanto Raketti down on the floor. And Mocket 4-0 against G2.
I gotta say, Revan's having a hell of a day.
Oh yeah.
That was I don't think that that bar was as penetrable as he was hoping. Unfortunate. Well, they're gonna try Dining Kitchen again, as this is their secondary. So far, this is looking like a pretty strong sweep, though. I gotta say, I did not expect this. These attacker lineups just not really working out for G2. Like, I mean, I don't want to blame Eunice, but his glass play has been subpar at least. So Fabian taking over the role here, probably the right choice. Can instead put Eunice on the blitz if he sticks on that blitz. But either way, I feel like this switch up is probably the smart way to go about it, just because I don't know what it is. Eunice is just not. He has off days on glass. He's a very, very good glass, but he has days where it just seems like, you know, maybe he needs a few more energy drinks or something to really kind of get on block in terms of his timing. He was pushing in very wide angles. Do you see him kind of taking very wide peaks into situations where, like you said, the smoke coverage isn't quite correct, or he's just, I don't know, he's just overly aggressively moving in situations where the defenders have the angles and the advantage, and it's just not working out time and time again. But we'll see the switch, and maybe Fabian can do it a little bit better. Eunice gonna bring that first blitz for them. See how it goes here in terms of the last attack round for G2. And then we'll see if they have some big surprises on their defense to really make things work. Pretty much the same defender lineups for the most part here for Mocket, because, well, it's been working, I'd say, fairly effectively.
10 seconds to go.
Especially enemy playing that very flexible roam.
Yeah, honestly, G2 are always fearing the ally coming in from behind them. They're never able to sleep well. Even when they were playing on here, it seems like when they were in kitchen, it just, Fabian was always afraid of somebody coming in from the side. Even though he had Jackal tracking, he had everything to his advantage, still was not enough to deal with that.
Well, now he's not going to be Jackal tracking this time because he took over that glass roll. So hopefully they don't need that, because when they have phone calls, they have the ability to do at least some gadget scanning. So that might help out. No pulse to track this time. They are going for more of a horizontal attack rather than a straight vertical take from above, which is surprising. But hey, I guess it's one way to use the blitz. They are still going to have Pangu potentially take the top floor. He is droning it along with Goga. So they're going to at least make sure that there's no one up there. See if they can actually turn that into an attack here, though, as they get a little stalled out.
Alright, Pangu's throwing in. Well, actually, there we go. They got Fabian the drone on the top floor. So last time they came in, though, they got shot from below, because they're already pre-open holes that are set up by Mocket, just to make sure that it can get kills off their opponents. And there you go. Panics will get the first one. Doesn't even need hose. Goes in for the 1v1 against Kanto. A lot of damage done to the Jaeger, but we can see here a reset for Panics. Fabian moving in as the smoke finally pops, and he's just in dining. Now damage will be done to him, and that frame is going to be heard by Mocket, as he gets only one kill on Void. And was it really worth it? I am not sure.
Still better than Eunice was doing half the time.
Oh, Jonas, speaking of which, he goes down, unfortunately, to enemy running around on the Ella, finding the headshot, and this is looking like a 5-0 for Mocket against G2.
Oh, no.
Pretty insane, to say the least. The Thermite will get set. Andrew is running here. From it, he turns around, unfortunately, at the wrong time. It's the Ella that comes in and cleans it up. Mocket 1 round away from taking this whole thing here 6-0.
A big surprise here. I mean, obviously they lost the first map, so they can't take it out here in terms of taking home the win from this map alone. But the idea that you're going to have to see 5 rounds in a row from G2 here actually is a bit of a stretch.
To tie and then
yeah, and then win
potentially take it.
Yeah, not looking good for G2. This is definitely looking like we're going to see Bank after all. This is not the G2 I would normally expect, especially after we saw how strong their attacks were on Oregon. It just seems like maybe they weren't as prepared for this map as they thought they were. Could be the case where maybe it was really, I guess, Market baiting them into taking Villa. Potentially. We'll see though. Now that the switch has happened, we could see a reverse 5-0. Obviously, we saw 5 rounds in a row from Market, so we know it's possible here. We're going to see some 6-pix units going to switch over to Pulse and rev into Twitch.
A bit of an uphill battle here for G2. They're starting off on Trophy. And,
wow, Rick. Yeah.
It's pretty insane, to say the least. He's got more kills than all of G2 combined.
It's not a surprise considering how he's been playing. Enemy, though, has been doing good. Well, I'd say those two alone have been doing very, very well. Even on Oregon, they were two of the top players for sure. So it's been a good day for them. Maybe G2 needs to figure out how to shut those two down in particular faster.
See how Goga plays it out though on the Echo. So if they play it all the way down, usually what the Echo will do. Oh no, he's playing Supernova. Okay. This, you know, I know why he's doing this. So remember when I was saying that Thermite?
Yep, that's exactly what it is. That's why he's got the yokai right there as well to be able to watch that.
He doesn't even need to care about it actually. You know why? Because if you blow out the floor and it's only exposed like the skeleton of the villain, you can't actually put your thermite charge on it. So there is literally no way to open it if there's just one impact available in the back. So that pretty much negates everything that Market would have had in mind to come in, but they are bringing a Hebon. So they don't have to worry about a thermite charge in here. There's not enough. G2 will be playing potentially from below as Eunice is scanning around, making sure that he's in a safe and comfortable position here to take his phone out. Just turn it off Alive. And
yeah, Alive is going to have to play a different role now because he got his operator banned, so he's going to have to be on Dokkaebi instead. Something I think he plays fairly well as well, so not a huge loss.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter too much for him. Revan will open things up here. Cantor Rocketti going down as not really expecting the Twitch to come in from the cellar. And there you go. It does indeed happen. Market one step closer away from a 6-0 on map 2 to take it into her third one on Bank.
Definitely looking like it so far. At least Yuna's getting some heartbeats here, getting some idea where they might be playing from, but they're not doing a whole lot about it. At least a minute and a half been burned though.
Right. Enemy jumping back down here, taking no damage. Might just be going up to that astronomy window. It's oh so strong, possibly pushing Jonas away. Jonas will get the spot. He's trying to contest the Sophia here, but Panics is ready in the back just in case. Unfortunately, there is an ADS to burn the frag grenade away. Enemy finally chucking in the usual to open things up. They know it's going to be in the back. He's chucking in the C4, waiting for the perfect moment. As he hasn't heard anybody moving, and there you go. It will hit. No, not really doing much. Entirety of the map here, the UMP being expended to get one kill off of it, but it's already enemy getting one, Alive getting the second, and that's Panics getting one more. Pengu on his own now. He gets two, can't get the third. Unfortunately, Market absolutely wiping the floor with G2, not losing a... Oh, don't leave him hanging. There we go. Absolutely wiping the floor with G2 in that map. So 5-0 on the defending side, and then one round is all that Market required when they were on the attack. Absolutely impressive plays, and mention Revan, 12 kills. Enemy with 8, Void with 2, Alive and Panics with 3 each. Otherwise, it's 12 kills in total for G2. Jonas getting nothing.
Unfortunately, no console surprise for him. We still have one more map to go, but nonetheless, that's going to put a little bit of tilt, I imagine, on Spender. They will get a break, of course, to be able to think about that and maybe have a Coach Shaz step in and be like, guys, stop losing. Just, can you do me a favor and get one round to start out with?
Can you be my life coach?
Yeah.
This seems like a great...
Good philosophy. Stop losing.
Stop losing.
Done.
Stop moving.
Okay.
Stop losing. Very good. Alright, well, before we head into map number 3, Bank, it's tied G2 versus Market. Let's take a quick break, 5 minutes. We'll be right back.
Stylish on the outside, savage on the inside. Legion by Lenovo.
We're going down to CCTV. Not surprising at all. But usually it's Panix who's playing the LA. They always talk about it. It's Bank. What he's usually going to be doing is setting up with a shield in front of him, some ADSs to help as well, holding off on those server stairs. So here won't be the case, at least when it comes to the player himself. Enemy can definitely pull that off. That is
Well, and Panix, of course, can help set up those ADSs.
indeed.
Well,
Usually
we'll
the
see.
reverse.
What's that?
Usually the reverse, but
Yeah.
speaking of reversing position, here's Fabian on the Clancy.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say he was like hugely impactful, but he got one more kill than we ever saw Eunice getting on the map, so it wasn't a terrible idea. He was Eunice this time on a different role on Sophia instead. He did try to boost that round. That last one did not work out. I like he's trying to hide that camera behind the light there. That should help. Gotta make sure you take out those default cams, of course. Go on top of that. Open up some windows to get this attack ready so they can take that top floor control as soon as possible.
Yeah, there you go. Default cameras getting shot down by G2. So, Alive has set up that Valkyrie camera in a correct way, I guess. You really just want to see at least headlight of the operator passing by. You don't really need to see the entire op.
Yeah, definitely not. We'll see, though, if that comes into play. They do have the ability to spot it from Kanto, though. Although it's a risky spot to spot it. And then as I say that, of course, he is not going to be alive any longer to do anything about it. So definitely not going to spot it with that scanner now. He is unfortunately not able to find a trade off of that.
Unfortunately, he's just set upstairs in the skylight stairwell. He's not really talking to anybody just yet. Revon sitting back, chilling. He's got ADS to help him. Panics in here. So, Ella or not, he's always going to play on the stairs.
Well, almost catching enemy there. Just oh, there we go, the peek, and then nice tap. There's Eunice making up for his Villa plays. Almost ahead, but there we go. 2. All right. Well, now I don't feel as bad about him playing, switching the role with Fabian now.
But this is huge. Goga going down means that there's no more thermite, but also that they have to rely on Pengu. And this screams, let's just go for gold.
I wouldn't mind relying on Pengu.
There's really no other way to get this done because, you know, you lose the thermite, you're kind of limited in terms of options. There's a minute left. You don't have a ton of time to contest anybody in the servers. You're equal in manpower, but still, the defense, if you're equal in manpower, the defense still has an advantage.
A smoke of 2 C4s, though. I would say that's an advantage.
Exactly. So now Pengu will have to come in. There's nobody in the garage as he has thrown himself in.
There is now.
Alive looking in, unfortunately, is Pengu to get the kill. Valkyrie camera will get shot down as Valkyrie herself will try to run away. Roy will use this to his advantage. Unfortunately, can't get the shot on Pengu. Only a bit of damage done to him. The one Skyros thrown into the wall. Open up an angle for Pengu here to play against anybody playing in B. This boy is though, and Pengu will get the shot onto Revan. At 9 or not. Now it's a 3v1. Jonas and the squad will have to run into Boy. There you go. Pengu will get the last one all on Pengu.
Yeah, what were you saying about relying on Pengu?
So, pretty good.
Not a terrible idea. So, I mean, he's got all three of those. Still hanging drums himself. Nice job, Pengu. I mean, overall, though, not bad.
That round with this start should have gone the way of Monk. But G2 being able to refrag meant that they didn't have to worry about their opponents being too fast against them.
Yeah.
And there you go. Having at least a month alive. There you go. Pretty well with the G2's hand. We're covering the round after. But we'll go back to we'll go to Teller's Archives and Boy will play Maestro. On the castle as well, so pretty big for the site.
Interesting 6-2 to go from Doc to Maestro. So either way, they know there's a ACOG, a big fatty there to fight it. But nonetheless, we'll see if that pays off. As that can be very useful if you could tuck it away, for example, behind the tellers when they're trying to, let's say, use some X-Kairos or something to open up the wall instead of the thermite. In this case, they have both hard breachers, so may not be able to pull off any kind of evil eye trickery to stop those, but you never know. Depends on how well they drone and pay attention. Venus, though, like I said, definitely made up for last map, although it would have been nice to see that earlier.
And unfortunately, just the team play was not working well. The beer on Bang definitely has worked out fine, at least trying to cover things.
I could see them playing Villa again later in this tournament. As I imagine Shaz's perspective is to go through that and look at everything that didn't work and improve upon it. Look for ways to make it work, look at what was not working, and feel confident going into it the second time.
Now, to be confident in that run, you really have to top your group. It will give you a big advantage having pretty much a day and a half to prepare before going to the quarterfinals. So that's the macro build, basically.
Yeah.
Their preparation for the whole tournament, not just for a play day. And that's why teams will have coaches, because they help them not. But aside, Panix is playing upstairs by CEO. See all of GG really trying to protect against them. Pengu taking a lot of damage actually from the back, but Panix will finally go down, and there's the second kill. Jonas finding the headshot on Alive as he moves into open area, and now they'll have free reign over the site.
Ooh, does down one in the admin office as well. Eunice, like I said, definitely playing much, much better on this operator role.
Then Iron Sight MPX.
That would be interesting.
And a red dot on a Alda. Can we pause this game for a second?
Just look at the Iron Sight. Well, Revan's been playing very well, so I don't question his decisions right now.
I will.
All right. We'll see. We'll see how he plays this in terms of being able to hold that. Teller's there, but Pengu is low on health, so he could potentially take advantage of that. However, that is a long angle to be fighting with an Iron Sight, as you mentioned. He's going to play smartly. He does. So there you go. Don't question. Kanto unfortunately going down. That is a little bit less utility in terms of scanning, but nonetheless, man advantage clearly over to G2 in a 4-2 situation. So G2 looking to make up for their loss on Villa for sure.
Goga moving in from the side here on the thermite. He sprays through the wall and doesn't get any damage done.
That was close though.
Revan is still in the Teller's office. And there you go. Voy, even with the red dot, getting the kill on Pengu. This is not so great for G2 with how big of an opener they have had early on. But there you go, kill from the side is Jonas. We'll get one more on the board, but it's Revan that drops it, and that's the diffuser. It's a huge pick now with 50 seconds left on the clock. a lot of time to play with, and Revon with one more. So this is your secret here. He'll get the last one though. Jonas will save the round, and G2 sweating bullets here.
I love how we get Eunice going from 0 last map to a 2K and then a 4K.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good player.
He was playing the wrong operator. They finally switched that. They fixed it. Maybe they'll play Villa again. Just switched around because it has been much better for him.
Yeah, they forged the glass a bit too much, unfortunately, and that's some teams do the same when it comes to shield operators. Like, oh, we're just gonna play blitz every single round. Every single round, it doesn't work.
Well, for a sexy gig, it did most of the time.
Yeah, well,
So he's just good at it. So.
True that. True that.
Typical Brazilian style. We'll see. They're going to go back down to lockers again. Now, last time they had a little bit of trouble on the attack on lockers. Barely pulled it off thanks to Pengu with that 3K and a sweep at the end. So they're going to have to be a little more careful with their breaches this time in terms of making sure that they're, if Goga's going to get picked, he needs to get the wall downstairs open first. Because Fabian on that glass means, of course, they would play for what we typically see a glass play, like we saw Zephyr doing when they open up the one wall by the server stack and use that as an angle towards the red hallway wall. But in this case, they may or may not be able to play it that way depending on what they lose. Last time, though, they just opened the hatches and went for garage push, which seems to be the way to do it now. You just open the hatches and then push garage. Because it didn't work for the previous team when we saw them done, but we'll see this matchup. Same lineup, though, coming out from G2, and I guess pretty much the same thing coming out from Rocket as well. The only difference now is we have Alive on the Valkyrie, and probably not with the MX Iron Sights, because we definitely saw that working out really well for Revan.
10 seconds to go.
Enemy will reinforce the skylight hatch. Nothing really out of the ordinary. I wonder if Rocket will just play the same way. Oh, is he gonna go for a peek? No, just spraying in. Nobody really spawning in by the sewers, and enemy. Here, Panics is back on his standard operator for this defense downstairs. He's going to play by the server stairs with the Ella. They're very effective at it in the past. Got concussion mines, schwants everywhere. Can use those to your advantage. Zofia is going to be really your biggest enemy in that position, especially the way Jonas has been playing. And here they spotted out to make sure. Okay, there was a guy that peeked out early on. I don't know where he's at, but I'm just going to hold on and wait until my teammates give me information. ADS will be reset to help out the Ella and test the close angle.
Yeah,
they have that shield.
Putting it at a different angle that's maybe a little bit less exposed to anyone peeking down those stairs. Seems like a smart adjustment. Like I said, this is something they do pretty often. They should have it pretty down by now. And Eunice, as you said, is going to be the biggest counter. He is the one approaching right now. While they spend the rest of the time opening the hatches, taking advantage of map control. We're not really seeing anyone try and roam on this bomb site this time. They're just going to stick entirely downstairs, kind of turtle it up, and hope that Panics can hold that server stairs for as long as possible. But they're also considering garage. You see Fabian journeying it out. Fabian goes for a push on it. They do spot Alive down here at the bottom of the stairs. Fabian deciding what to do with that information. He is calling out for Pengu, watching it live. Pengu could take advantage of it here, forcing the pillar and saving his life, but Alive gets away with his as well.
You're going to still hold up top, holding the angle for quite a bit. Bring a lot of time now. That one of the best ways to really control the attacks coming from the garage. And there we go. Cantor will get the first kill here, taking down enemy. Fabian will move in to the smoke. Cantor trying to find the angle as he spots one in the back. Half information is Fabian is flashed, but he gets the kill on Alive regardless. It's now 5v3. Gas canister being thrown into the red hallway just to be sure. But is anyone watching the rotation for both? Yes, there is. It's Cantor Rocchetti. Does he expect the second one? He should be here as Panic comes in, but he went out with the Ella. He'll get none. Fabian and Pengu will get the last two. The attackers of G2 finally getting back into standard form.
Now, where was this attack from G2 on Villa? This has been so much more effective.
We'll go into round 4 here to see how things work out for G2. And Lockett still unable to find the round on the defense.
Well, we'll see that they are going to be able to make some adjustments. I imagine as they have flexibility of bomb site, because they've lost every time on their defense, that means they can choose whatever they want. So if they decide to go for a different one, at least they're going to go for a tactical pause here for Rocket. So they're going to take some time, kind of like recollect themselves, because this is not what they were hoping for, I imagine. This is a map that they are fairly good at, as you mentioned before, so they should be doing better on it, but they seem to get a bit dismantled. You can see them on the screen looking a little dismayed, trying to figure out what are we doing wrong? Why is this not working like it was in our previous matches? But then again, they have been taken apart on it by Vitality in the past, so they definitely have weaknesses on it, and that's what G2 have been exploiting. Although we'll see, once G2 gets on defense as well, they might have a heck of a time on that defense also. Same attacker lineup though, coming from G2, because it's definitely working. Boy, gonna be bringing that Maestro, trying that out again here for Tellers. Let's see if that'll work this time. So they definitely don't seem to want to go to CEO or open area. That surprised me though that they don't have the CEO as one they can kind of pull out to try and do something different with. As either of these two bomb sites really been working all that great for them, although some of the rounds have been close. Just not enough of them.
G2 finally back here. Of course, Mocket was calling for their tactical timeout. And remind you again, every single map, each team has the opportunity to use one minute tactical timeout, in which they can talk to their coach, reevaluate their position, of course get ready for the upcoming rounds. And very smart from Mocket to do it right before starting round 4. They need these 2 rounds here on the defense, because especially the sites that they've been playing are mostly downstairs. The basement is the site that usually the defenders have pretty good time on, and G2 has just been plowing them aside every time.
Yep. Well, we'll see if they can continue that, though. I imagine that tactical timeout there, hopefully to bring out some counter trades, because the coach has been sitting there watching from the perspective of more than just one player. Each individual player is mostly seeing their own screen, except for when they die, and they can take spectating all the other players. The coach has the overall perspective to really see what they need to change more so, and I think that was a good call.
Yeah, to update you guys in the meantime though, NIP took their game versus Fnatic. It was a 6-3 victory for NIP in the clubhouse, and then 6-1 on coastline for Brazilian lineup. So Fnatic falling to NIP, in my mind, a team that is very good. That is for sure. And oh, no. That was Eastern Rainbow Six touching groups last round. Bravo, but back to this G2 versus Mocket. Fabian is just running that glass down, making sure the barrel is nice and good.
There's a lot of angles to be opened up here. Fortunately, not reaching it. Only first going to be running that glass outside that ball, because rotating around from that position to try and help out the team later on in the round, it does take quite a while. So I think he can change positions early after not getting anything out of it. Probably the smart decision. They have taken control from stock here. They're starting to take control towards, well, pretty much all of CEO to turn this into a nice vertical battle here. They haven't lost anything just yet. They don't have a sledge or a buck, but they have plenty of other utility to open up the floor here. With double hard breachers as well, they could even thermite the floor if they wanted to, just to open up some more angles.
It very much is possible.
They might even have breach charges on Kanto as well, but Gogo with the first kill under Revan. Nice initial kill there from the thermite. That is an important kill because we saw how good Revan was last time on this defense.
Yeah, and of course the Valkyrie can relay information pretty well. Now, Maestro taking a lot of damage. Voice somehow still alive at the end of this. This Penguin just spraying in, looking for a real lucky finisher, but Cantor Raketti bring up the side. I wonder if it's going to be... can't chuck really anything. Of course, it's the IQ now. Doesn't have much, but enemy peeks in and he gets down here on Gogo. So Gogo was trying to go for that defusal plant. Boy, finishing him off. They had set up an evil eye in the back. I wonder where that is. But Kenta Raketti finding the angle on enemy upstairs. 4v3 now. Fabian gets the finisher on board. Only one shot away. Panic's being tagged here. But G2 really have to watch out for the flanks of Mocket. They've been devastating in Diffuser will get set. Alive rotating in here. He's in Skylight. And Jonas is ready for him instantly. Fabian will trade off to get the last kill. G2 with 4 rounds. They're looking to return the 6-0 favor.
Looking very, very similar to what we saw so far from Mocket's side, but I can't imagine it's going to go the same way, but it's certainly a possibility.
I have a very vivid imagination.
Well, it's true. I can imagine that. I'm just trying not to and hoping that it's going to be a little bit different. But Mocket, when you're going to go for a third bomb site, in this case, CEO might be a better choice than open area. This seems again like an Oregon-style risk where they on their last defense went tower and lost it. They're doing something similar here, going to open area. Yeah, you want to throw off G2, but I think CEO would be more the way to do it at this point. Unfortunately, just all your bomb sites, the better one's not working out, doesn't mean you should go to the worst one. You know, though, they could have an interesting defense, but I'm not seeing anything in terms of operators that really makes me think, wow, they've got something here. It's going to make it dramatically different. I'm basically going with the castle, not doing anything on that part in terms of leaving that open, but they have more than enough utility to take advantage of castle. They have the ability to soft breach it, but they also have the ability for Fabian to punch little holes in the castle barricades and use those to look for those yellow highlights.
Exactly. And, those holes are not just, oh, hey, it's like you're butting the castle barricade. No. They're literally holes that you can see through. So even though there's castle barricade, the glass can definitely be a big part of taking them out. It takes 11 shots to take it out, so full mag will be more than enough to deal with it, but also before you take it out, you kind of want to use those holes, bullet holes, to your advantage. You see the rotation hole being set up in the archives, so big part of holding on to open areas, making sure that you have some control over tellers, archives, and the open area office as well. So as long as you still rotate from archives into the office, will be kind of fine actually. But G2 are definitely going to make this a lot more complicated, as priority number one, take control of the top floor, take control of the hatches, and then from then try to push in to the site.
I like that coordination there. Pengu, instead of droning in for himself on that window, has a teammate throw in a drone so that he can be ready to execute on the information. Does get the ping on the player hiding just around that corner, but he doesn't peek it. There we go. Fortunately, the timing not there, but he backs off smartly and will live to continue to pressure that.
Yeah, they want to make as much pressure as possible, though. As I assume that Fabian is playing all the way from the garage. Enemy will have to drop it down. It's Pengu now. Switch over to the drone play.
Fast top floor control.
It's all clear, so Pengu can come in. Kanto Raketti come into the lounge. And there's nobody here really to contest against him. Making sure that he has the spot on any goo mines that are set up, cameras, any utility that Mocket have available.
Well, a minute to take top floor control without taking a single bit of damage is actually working really well. And as I say that, Revan at least trades one back. Kanto is he was obviously spending too much time trying to shoot through the floor. Unfortunately punished.
He gets blown up. Unfortunately, so now the IQ eliminated. G2 on the backhand, but the 4 rounds up on the board, that's definitely not a relaying information to his teammates. He's now trying to look for a pick off the site. Need to refrag here. It's always very important to get the refrag ASAP. It's quite a while. Gets the kill on a void. The barricade. Other than that, there's not much that they have to really deal with. Enemy getting the kill on Fabian. Now it's up to Jonas to contest it here. He'll get one. Turning around instantly. Make sure nobody picks in from the stairs. Doesn't have a line of sight as Goga will take down the Valkyrie camera that was used by those defenders. Peek against them alive, getting one on a Pengu. Goga to peek in. Goga get one. Goga and Jonas chime in. One each. Now they are all up against the enemy. And do they know where he's at? Might want to drop and play from behind them. There's 50 seconds on the clock though left, and Jonas from the side will get the kill. 5-0. Now the reverse from G2. Can they make it 6-0? So it's a 6-3, 6-0, 6-0.
Yeah, and it's 6-6. This is one of those points where it's just like G2 just never seem to get tilted in the sense of losing that. They always don't care. They're just like, whatever. We want to
show you next round.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll just turn that around and show you how it's done. That was but I credit to Mocket, their Hail Mary almost worked. They did almost get that round. And unfortunately, the manpower was just not in their advantage at the end there, and they just couldn't close it out. CEO actually going to, the one site that Maki not wanting to play is going to be the opening site here for G2. All they've got to do is win one round now, and it's very likely to happen that we see G2 move forward, but I'm not counting Maki out just yet. They had, you know, getting a 6-0 against G2 does show that they have some possibility of turning this around.
Who knows? Maybe G2 will not show for Villa, but it's definitely very different. So
I think they showed that, that they were able to finally switch operators with one of the players who's struggling on the last switch. They made the change. They forced it. It's great.
now I'm getting a lot of tweets and posts. Checking those out. People are watching those streams. It's great to recommend that you either want to stream on a different monitor or using a multi-twitch to put Twitch TV Rainbow Six and Rainbow Six Bravo on the same screen. There's quite a bit of action going on between our two matches here. Of course, NIP will remind you again taking the victory against Fnatic in a 2-0 in their
That's a bit of a surprise. But as you said, they are a bit of a land team. They've been struggling most of the time during the season, but you know, when they get to land,
Oh, what can I say? I love that.
ticked a few times you get. No, I'm just kidding. Castle being used for just the 3 windows is a strange strategy in the sense that he gets a lot more use out of those doors for the most part. Definitely not a choice. Now that they let Alive, of course, play his operator, he's going to do exactly that.
I think Kanto's just going to try to peek against anybody that comes into the main role. He's just watching which camera is he watching. Yeah, he's got a bulletproof camera facing the outside.
Bulletproof camera, nice.
So he does have a player to help him out in the hallway as well. He can just play the hallway on his own. Not really doing a lot much, but USB being brought in by Enemy, which kind of surprising here, but as explosives being thrown up, he's letting his only C4. There we go.
Well, that is not a huge deal, but definitely not going to help here. But they only have to win one round, even if they have to lose this one. They get some idea how the attack's being played out.
It's not about winning the round, it's about sending a message to them.
That's right. If you don't 6-0 us without a retaliatory 6-0.
Exactly. But Enemy still on the drone here. Still hasn't been able to find any footsteps. But you see, oh no, they peek at the same time, but Panic's still getting the kill on Goga.
Nice trade.
And the smoke being lost out here for the Buck. Unfortunately, not quickly enough on the peek from Goga, and the grenade, which timed up perfectly here. Revan will get one. Kanto Rocketti falling down. As fortunately for Kanto, that peek did not work out well for him. Now, drones will get shot down by the Evil Eye set up by Maestro. As remind you, the only person that can control the Evil Eyes is Maestro himself. So if he dies, it ain't great.
Yeah, no, he'll definitely play it back. I think probably not too aggressive. So that definitely will help with that, because I imagine Eunice and Pengu will be able to frag around him to an extent, but they've got to fight 4 with 2 hard breachers left alive. So it's not going to be an easy fight. Unfortunately, the peek's not working out super great there for Eunice.
He'll get a lot of damage done onto Revan, but reminder that G2 are down a player. And unfortunately, Pengu was away and he couldn't really go for the impact on Boy. Enemy will get the kill on a Fabian. It's a 2v4. So Eunice ripping in from below. He does not have a C4 to chuck up. Boy, would he wish that he had one. But impact even being thrown into the back. Pengu trying desperately to hold on to the site as Alive gets one. As Pengu down on the floor, Eunice with 30 health left alive. I'll have to run through the office hallway, the main stairway. They get information on him as Alive getting the last one. And so a 6-1, or well, 6-1 potential, but a 6-0 at least will be thwarted.
But that means 6 attack rounds in a row. So no one has yet to win a defense despite playing all the different bomb sites. So far, every bomb site's been played, not a single one.
I don't know why G2 didn't just play in the basement for a first round.
When they want to go CEO again, they say like, you know what, we get what we did, what didn't work, so let's try it again. They have the spare rounds to work with in terms of the lead that they have, but they are not going to have that retaliatory 6-0, unfortunately. Just not going to happen. So, like you said though, 6-1 definitely a possibility here.
Kanto Rocketti again in the dock. They got 2 ACOGs in between them. Of course, the dock and the Maestro.
didn't work out last time for Doc. And actually, Fabian get a 6 pick. There we go. And then enemy sneaking in that Jackal again.
Okay, they realized anchoring didn't really help them out too much. So with the Valkyrie change, we probably won't be seeing Doc playing the same way as before because he was relying on those, on the Evil Eyes from Maestro to give him information. So it won't be the case this time around.
And the cameras he can actually rotate. He had the bulletproof camera as well, but he couldn't.
So we'll see where Fabian sets up those cameras later on. Is now he's using up his resources, his 2 reinforcements in test. Coming into the lobby, and where will he find the correct position? Just trying to knock out any drones that come in early on, just minimizing the amount of information that Market can gather.
And this is why, if you ever wonder why they leave drones outside, this is why.
Exactly.
Attackers recover.
It's case 2 where you can also pick them up and you get 2 drones to work with. This is even nicer.
Tim is trying to throw the black eye onto the black part of the upper pillar.
Can't pick that back up. No do-overs on that one.
We need a ladder operator. That's what we need.
Certainly do. Could have that, they could step up right now.
See what you did there. But it's 10 kills up here on the board for enemy and Jackal. So running with the USB, no need for the ITA in this position. But of course they are bringing panics. We saw how aggressive the smoke from Goga was when it just peeked out and got the kill on panics, though it did rely on having information from the Maestro Evil Eye. In this case, there's none of that.
Well, it didn't end up being a big factor. If you know on top of the wall, we can suggest that Thermite. You also have Habana, though, that could go for opening up the bottom potentially first.
Is Pengu running impact?
Boy, he looked right at that camera. There you go. Yeah, I hope
he
there
is.
we go.
And is Goga running? Is he running barbed wire? Yes.
Yeah.
So.
He's going to be playing in a different part anyways.
Thank you, Marcio, by the way. Proszę bardzo. So there we go. Okay, so Panic setting up here with a frag grenade. They need to time things perfectly to make sure that they take down any players behind the wall. But unfortunately, it's not like you need to be right behind the wall to impact. There you go. You just stay back, and because that thermite charge only has 1 HP, the easiest way to do it is, there you go, Void putting it on the floor, and that's the way to do it. I don't think the impact will hit through there. You need to hit it by the floor, but it's 2 kills here for Mocket. And a refrag, Fabian and Cantor Ricchetti. Getting a kill each. Take down both Milan and Reva.
Still match and map point too, so they've got to finish this out. They've got to play carefully with these last 3 players.
Cantor Ricchetti looking back onto the site. Pengu in the castle will move in and get himself as close as possible to his opponent's enemy. Only enough running the whole pet. But trading is now under the control of Mocket, but they have to play against Goga. He's got a shotgun and an SMG-11. It's pretty much the best lineup you'd like to have when you're playing up close against your opponents. He also has the castle to support him. Enemy will be taken down by Cantor Ricchetti. Now peeking in through the hallway. You know where they're at. The shotgun will finish him off, and there we go. Goga and Kanto will clean the round up. Cantor Ricchetti with a 3K at the end. 6-1 is the scoreline for map number 3 on Bank as G2 survive for having lost their second map in a 6-0. You see Farrell.
Love Clubhouse, especially after the changes. And it's because there's still things that are left undecided in terms of what's the most efficient meta to, well, I guess meta has the word efficient. What's the best meta to use here? And I want to see what G2 is going to show us especially, but I also want to see what the Latin American interpretation of Clubhouse will be on an international scale.
Of course, G2, their most hated operator and basically an insta-ban is Lion, and there goes Lion first and foremost. Also, though to be fair, Nip doesn't always run Lion with any reliability.
Yeah.
Yesterday, the only time we saw Lion appear for Nip was when Glaz was banned out, and they had to switch Psycho on Ash, and then they were running a Lion, if I remember, from Kamikaze quite regularly. And that was just because their strategy involving the Glaz, well, you can't do it if Glaz is banned.
I know that G2 really does not like Lion. I get that, that's great, but it does make their ban phase incredibly predictable. They ban Lion almost every single time. So we'll see if the ban phase comes back to bite them later on, or if it works out in the end. Hibana was banned by their opponents, and not having a Hibana on this map is like not having a Thermite on border. It's pretty much the same.
Right.
It changes the entire landscape, and we actually just saw this. You weren't here for it, but we just saw in Vitality versus Nora, a Hibana ban from Vitality, and it forced us back to year one meta, all the way back to the very beginning. People were thermiting church wall consistently when attacking the basement. It was very nostalgic.
So Wilkie commented on this yesterday. A big part of why we see Hibana banned as much as we do is because it prompts you to have to use a thermite, and the thing with thermite is that it's very easy to use that impact grenade when you're trying to defend master to take care of exothermic charge.
You say that.
What I find very interesting, and something to definitely look out for here, Ninjas in Pajamas very much enjoys running Sludge. They run him all the time. They don't really run or utilize a fire. The only other frag grenade operator is Finka. We know Julio also likes to run a shield. With Jaeger off the board, there is an opening, potentially, to run a Sledge and a Finka together along with a shield and maybe go for a quick push onto one or two sites. And the lack of ADS means that those frag grenades are going to be even extra value. Of course, there's also a Sophia, which means that those ADSs won't be able to catch any of those projectiles. There's lots of throwable gadgets from Ninjas in Pajamas right now. The only one that's probably not running one, I would assume, is probably Wet.
Yeah. And that would stand to reason, but overall, yes, they are leaning very heavy into those projectiles, hence the Jaeger ban. And I totally agree with you. I think it's a great ban. We've been seeing it actually strangely a large amount so far throughout this tournament. He's not an operator that typically sees banned. If you look at Pro League, it's kind of an odd thing for it to happen. But that's the nature of LAN events. You always see new stuff being brought out. So G2 starting on what is widely considered to be the best site on this map. For a while, he was basement. At the very beginning of Clubhouse's rework, it was basement, the best map, or the best site, because it's what we've known it to be the best for a long time. And then for a while, it was cache, because wow, look at this cache room, it's so easy to defend. And then it's seen transition over to Master now, because Master is basically just defending cache, but you also have something to fall back upon. And not every team is on the same page with that, but that's the mindset behind this bomb site. So you hold in a little bit of a roam in cache, or you don't, depending on your opponent, you think they're going to be stalling or not. And then, yeah, you have your fallback in Master.
The biggest focus is, of course, taking control of the periphery, which is where we're seeing Nip right now. They're going to need to take care of that long, hard wall that's on the other side of Ashes. It's a bit of a strange pre-fire in there. Jonas will push right up to the window. Nip B5 will just, I think, anticipating a possible drop. But no, it's going to be the Ash up top still just watching. Not uncommon to see the mute be rolled out on this side in particular, but there's been no real investment from G2 whatsoever in this garage, and it's allowed Nip to just push right up to the soft wall.
They still have those cache roamers. They did lose that yokai drone, which is pretty big. Losing the yokai drone is going to hurt their information gathering, but it's also going to hurt their potential disruption when the push actually starts to come. You can see Nip is droning out that cache room thoroughly, and they've actually forced quite quickly the G2 players all back to site. They did not risk it at all. And you know what that is we just passed the halfway mark. It was clearly a timed retreat there from G2. They don't need to waste any more time than they plan on. And Nip will read this, they will take the control that they needed, and they'll start their next steps into thermiting into offense potentially. It looks like that's the setting up.
And I mean, to be fair, we saw this matchup in the Fnatic Nip game yesterday, so G2 just needs to study the same VOD that happened and try and see what are the patterns, what are the commonalities in their attacks and defenses. It gives you, not a sizable advantage, but an advantage nonetheless. Fabian inside of office will look at the hatch, though, and just see if there's anybody that's going to push through it. You can see that Julio's drone skirting over top of it, just trying to gain some intel, and the smoke is in a position where if somebody drops, he could be in for a world of hurt. But Julio actually looks like he might have concussed himself. First kill is going to go to Psycho. As the Ash takes out Kanto, Ricchetti looks like he was possibly playing inside of Jim, and Psycho in a powerful position. Watching the window into Master, there will be a ping that goes out, and a frag grenade will sail over the top. It won't hit Pengu, though. So behind that deployable shield, the Legion in the hallway just outside of Jim, he's under heavy fire. But Pengu, of course, a great shot. Bullets will rattle just over the head of the Ash. 9 players still alive, and you can hear final 10 seconds. Nip is just going to rush right in through the window, trigger the goo mine, and chaos is about to ensue. Fabian will go for a pre-fire. Goga will take one down. Vogue and Psycho jumping into the fray. Only 1 second left. Are they getting the plant down? Yes, they are. Goga will work his way in. He picks his target and gets it despite being outnumbered. The Echo saving the day. Where was Nip's coverage? G2 round number 1.
A very impressive clutch there from Goga. The yokai drones weren't used as well as they could have been, but ultimately if you're hitting your shots, then it doesn't matter, I suppose. Goga proving that just now. And Ninjas in Pajamas, they didn't have the best strategy on that execute, I have to say. We had at 25 seconds left, still 9 people alive. And that is a lot of bodies for such a low amount of time. And usually when you see that happen, what's going to transpire after is that Nip will, on attack, they will have set themselves up properly to execute onto the site. But the only strategy they had in hand was, hey, let's vault in through B window and collapse through construction at the same time. And that really just did not work. And rightfully so. That is not an actual attack strategy. So I think it's possible Nip were relying on almost said the whole thing.
It's a slip of the tongue. I don't blame you at all.
Almost said the whole thing. I managed to, but G2.
It's gonna take a while. Like
yeah.
It just happened.
Yeah, it did. Now, anyway, Ninjas in Pajamas were relying on G2 to have those roamers so that they could pinch them and get a man advantage early. And that much is clear based upon the way they were playing, because 9 alive, 25 seconds, that's the attacker's fault.
And they vaulted in through one window. Of course, when you heard that Legion mine get triggered, you know where they're going to be coming from. It was a great contest from Nip in the fact that they did pick up 2 frags right as soon as the push happened. But the fact of the matter is that there was no coverage from that gym room to watch the hallway, and Goga just snuck right in. All sneaky, sneaky. And Goga, speaking of Goga's clutch, we just need to give some highlights. If you haven't been watching Pro League this season, Goga's ability to clutch rounds, this season in particular, seems huge in comparison to seasons before. He has been an incredibly impactful player.
What's the role? It's the role swaps, right? Now, when Kanto got brought into the team, the G2 roster had to reform all of their roles. They had to move people from position to position and operator to operator. So it's a pretty big change, and I think they're now starting to finally find themselves in the right spot with it. And that's why Goga is starting to perform as well as he has.
Right.
Because he's finally found his exact role. So, Ninja Pajamas starting to do the typical clubhouse drone phase where you just check every single corner. Big problem here, after the clubhouse change, it takes a lot more time to clear out every single room above the basement. So if you actually want to commit to fully clearing those roamers, if they exist, then you're looking at having only a minute or less on your actual execute to the site.
Right. I'm also one observation, G2, second round in a row running a mute. Just any basic VOD review of Ninjas in Pajamas will alert you to the fact that Twitch and Thatcher are not really amongst their arsenal of operators. They don't usually pick them. So you can potentially keep a lot of information, withhold a lot of information from Nip if you can do the jammers correctly. And I think we've also seen Penta use mute in, not abundance, but there's that one conflict strat that I remember you and I cast quite a while ago where they set up the mute jammers up top to try and roam around them without giving that info away. Now, of course, this was before Lion and Dokkaebi, etc., so it's a bit of a different game at the time.
Yeah. Easy D, gonna be droning his way down the blue staircase. Kanto Ricchetti uses those Gersmots wisely. He has disoriented his opponent. The second window will not detonate. The sledge reposition, but the calls from the yokai drone of Goga will allow Kanto Ricchetti to get that kill. Good teamwork there from G2.
Just excellent job for him to read that and push on up. As you said, great coordination. Here comes your execute. The Candelas will fire away, and Psycho after dispatching the default camera, will work through Moto, looking towards Trophy, or towards Church. Kamikaze will come in, and though Kanto, as he's trying to reset his phone, will be punished, and this will bring us back to a 4v4. Looks like a Toxic Babe just got shot away from Psycho, so that will be the entry that was supposed to be denied. No longer being worried about. It's also forced G2 back into blue. There's a Dokkaebi creeping on up. This could be a bad position for Jonas. Psycho will walk in, but Kamikaze's there to take out Jonas as the push comes from blue, but Goga and Fabian doing great work. 2 from Fabian, and 3 Fabian, the captain himself, taking out the shotgun, matters into his own hands, and Nip, a slower push just towards the end, same as round number 1, ends the same way, but with G2 having a bit more staying power that time.
We've been seeing a lot of crazy individual performances so far in this tournament, not just today, but also yesterday. And there's just another one to add to the books of Fabian almost single-handedly holding on to the site. It looked like the collapse coming from Ninjas in Pajamas was going to be successful, but he just stopped it dead in its tracks. Now, that was 2 successful defenses in a row for G2. And now they're going to go to their 3rd site, Cash Room. So this is the typical trio of bomb sites on Clubhouse. Master, Basement, and Cash Room. In any order, it really doesn't matter.
And because, you know, we can argue over the rating of which one is, you know, the 1st site, which one is the 3rd site, etc.
Every team thinks it's different.
Every team has a different rating for which site is easier to defend. CCTV, I'd have to actually delve into the statistics for this season so far, but it does seem like we see CCTV more than we see Master.
Yes, yes.
And of course, there's a reason why CCTV is picked as frequently as it is. It's considered one of the best sites, as you said.
Yeah, I think when you look at it, I think Basement is a lot like it used to be, so some teams who are not as well versed on Clubhouse, the new one anyway, will like to go downstairs more often. It is very much different considering what they did to Blue, but ultimately it's also very much the same. And then Cash Room, you know, teams that are just getting into learning Clubhouse, I feel like they tend to lean on and favor Cash Room because I think it's objectively a better site than Basement right now, considering the way the meta is being played. But it's also, it takes a little bit of knowledge to get into. Master requires the most knowledge, the most coordination of any of the sites. But you could also look at it and you could say, well, this is the easiest one to hold if you know what you're trying to do. And it comes down to practice, I think. G2 is one of those teams that is very well practiced, so they're going to be able to go to all of the sites and be comfortable. And ultimately, the difference between each of these sites in terms of which is the best is very small.
Yesterday we saw the Glaz of Psycho wreak havoc on this site in particular by being able to take Garage quite swiftly. It took a round or 2 until Nip was finally able to get it under their feet. Here's the Lackey Jaeger being shown as Julio's just going to sail a grenade right in, but no, it looks like Pengu might take some damage, but he'll scamper off. Yella getting very aggressive. Kanto getting baited as there's 3 separate barrels pointed right at his head. That's the Ying getting the kill onto the Ella. I understand why they did that play, but that's a risk you got to take sometimes. Kanto obviously doesn't get the better end of it.
Yeah, that's Kanto's role though, and Fabian, his role today is fragging. He's just taken out Wog, and that's the singular hard destructor. Of course, Habana being banned means the Thermite no longer with us. Ninjas in Pajamas are now in a very difficult spot. Interesting position to get the kill too. It looks like he may have run out from Garage.
He did, Wog did at least get the wall open though, so not all hope is lost. You've at least done your primary job as Thermite at this time, you know, point in the juncture, but you've just got over a minute to go. Time management is okay for both sides. I'm not too worried if I'm either of these teams. Late barricade going up. Fabian is in a bad spot in Garage. He's going to get called by Dokkaebi as well as getting pushed. There's the smokes coming out. Tries to throw out a Toxic Babe, but Kamikaze at the bottom of Garage is there to take Fabian down. Pengu will eliminate PZDs. He sprints right in, but Julio taking out Goga means that both will lose 1. Pengu